at least it's doing a preview of Greece that the comp students are doing, which Connor thinks could possibly be a folder with 3 interviews in it, so we'll see if she can make it a full. Brett, you're going to go
so what's the scoop with this, Erin? What are we talking about? What's the, I don't even...
It's just about
what goes into
PTLN, what goes into it, what you do here, how you got here.
So this is actually my 3rd time here, so it's kind of been a long road, but now it's basically management and then doing some interviews and on air and that sort of thing. Well, it's a big project on a daily basis, and we have, luckily, good staff here who know what they need to do every day. You gotta have to come in and we have our meeting to get things started to talk about what everybody's doing for the day. Then the reporters go out and gather the news for their stories. I think a lot of people are misinformed about how news actually comes to be. They think it's just there for us and we can just go in and read. But especially in this community, we want to make sure we're bringing the local stories and the stories that matter. I quite like it. I think you have to change with the times. People don't watch news like they used to. There aren't very many people who sit down and can watch even a full hour of news. So we wanted to make it fun. We wanted to make it so if you catch your news at one point, then if you tune in later in the cast, you're still getting local news. Because we're finding that a lot of people are just oversaturated with news of Donald Trump and, you know, bad things that are happening in the world. So this way, now in the second half of our show, we have it designed so we have local people coming in and talking about local issues, whether it be some place that they work or a cause that they're working for. And I think that that's far more interesting to people than hearing a Trump story for the 15th time of the day. So we really, I like the way that the things have gone, and we needed to change to make us more current, and I think that's exactly what we've done. So we get our reporters to go out in the morning or in the afternoon and cover things like city council or Rotary meetings or news conferences or even just stories that we want reaction to. And then it's up to them to actually write the story. I'll have a look at it and make sure everything is okay with the writing. Then they still have to edit the story. And our production team obviously plays a huge part in getting this to air, because then they have to make sure the stories are in place, the names of the people are all correct, and then actually, of course, get everything in place to go to air. So it's a long process, and it may seem to some people like it, is just all smoke and mirrors, but there's actually really a lot of work that goes in by everybody into getting this done.
Erin, how's the walk? Can I do one spot?
Wow, are
you new?
Are you brand new?
To what? Hair?
Yeah.
Do I have eyes in the back of my head?
Is this like legit?
Yeah.
Am I just being me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about you.
Oh, cool. I am from Edmonton, Alberta. Okay, so I went to NAIT and I took the radio and television program there, as pretty much everyone who walks through this building also did. I grew up dancing my whole life, so I wanted to pursue a career that allowed me to be creative like I did in dancing and tell stories.
You're like the person behind the photographer trying to make the child smile for family photos.
So I went to school, and after school I was headed to the big city of Toronto. They always tell you to start small and go big. But I started big and then I ended up going smaller. So I went to Toronto right out of school to do my internship at eTalk, which was unbelievable, such a cool experience. And then from there, I got work behind the scenes at CTV Edmonton. And there I was able to start producing daily segments as well as helping put shows together. I also worked in the control room, so I have a little bit of that aspect which I can bring to doing the news. It's always good to have kind of both sides. And then I wanted to do some on-camera stuff and do more of that creative outlet of the industry, so that's how I ended up here. So when I started here, I actually was hired on as the weekend anchor and weekday reporter. So I was in on the weekends, I was producing the casts, putting a story together, and then we were anchoring our 30-minute newscast on the weekend. Increased presence of animal education in Country Lane at Colonial Days, and then I was reporting just full time during the week.
I'm here on the Midway at Colonial Days, and if you're anything like me, your favorite part about the fair is the food, all the deep fried goodness. So I'm here to give you all the best food you can find here at Colonial Days 2017. Let's go. And of course, no fair experience is complete without a corn dog. Happy eating!
So I've really transitioned into more of a host and anchor role, from New Cap to Primetime Local News. My job here at Primetime Local News is a little bit of everything. So when I start the day, we're choosing what stories are going to go into our cast. Sometimes I actually produce the cast, so I will choose what elements go in what order in the cast and timing that out. And then some days I have to put a story together, so I will go out and shoot and meet people out in the community and then come back and put their stories together for our cast. I'm also going through all of our social media pages, keeping up to date on those. They're stuck in the scissors, you guys.
I can get it.
You did it. Proud of you.
Behind the scenes,
Behind
my
the scenes.
Instagram.
This is where you really do work.
Always looking at everyone's comments, and then of course our pets of the day, which is always my favorite part of primetime local news. Everyone submits their pet photos, and then I get to choose the lucky 5 for the day, and then I also study the weather throughout the day so that I can deliver a 7-day forecast throughout our broadcast.
Winter 3 for Vermilion, a little bit warmer as we move out west, so 5 degrees for Vegreville and Edmonton.
A little bit of everything and a lot of multitasking. I really like the people here. The people make coming to work so much fun every day.
This one?
Yeah.
Really? I hate that one.
I also really love the part of my job where I get to go out into the community and talk with new people and hear their stories that otherwise I never would have known about. And it's pretty cool to meet someone and them to completely open up to you and tell them, no, let's redo this. Cut, yeah, and slate. It's really cool to meet people and complete strangers who will be so open and vulnerable with you when they are telling you their story. So that is probably my favorite part of this job.
Now it's panel time.
What do we have for panel today?
Project. There's the 2 black ones, and all their siblings got adopted as these ones.
How for like 50
Yeah,
days.
yeah, they're the longest resident.
Nervous already. Okay. I don't know. I know, but this is like very intimidating. Honestly, I was in high school and I had really no idea what I wanted to do out of high school.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello, everyone.
I went to high school with my dad. That was a real treat. My dad's a teacher, yeah. It was a fun adventure. But my dad retook high school with me. And then John Sexsmith came in to do a sports interview or whatever for a team, and I ended up talking to him, and he's like, you should get into this. Like, you talk really well. You should try this.
2009, how many years ago was that?
9 years
No.
ago.
No, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't do simple math.
I thought, well, I don't know what else I'm going to do, so it's like a 2-year program. It's not like you're committing to like med school 8 years down the road, so I was just like, okay, I'll give it a shot, and ended up liking it. So yeah, I was a NAIT kid.
When did you graduate from NAIT?
Oh, a while ago. I want to say, well, I graduated high school in 2011, took a semester off, and then went. So, a while ago. I don't know, I don't do math. Hence why I do broadcasting. Decent amount of time ago. 5, 6 years ago, maybe? Something like that.
And then out of NAIT?
And then out of NAIT, I took a job at Chorus Entertainment in Edmonton as like a street team promotions coordinator type person. And then did that for a couple years. And then changed over and worked for a different radio station in Edmonton, and then I came here.
That's a culture shock. Greece to Lloydminster.
And then after that, I was like, well, I want to actually really get back into TV. That's what I wanted to do, more of reporting and stuff. So then I got hired on here. I met you people. Yay. I think I'm like the actual title is like anchor reporter. So I think that's, well, I anchor the news, and then I do stories here, and I don't know, I think that's kind of what my description would be. Well, local news, typically in a day, you pretty much put together a story a day.
What is like? Okay, so what is it?
On Saturday, the
and you go out and shoot the interview.
Yep.
And then you put the story together, you edit it together.
So I should probably do a script.
You should probably write a script. And then after, then we'll start to put things together.
See, I want to do it the other way. I wanted to like just
Actually, no.
Yeah, because really there's
And
no
then once it's done, you put it in the cast, and then it kind of goes to air. So it's just like a couple little steps of creating it and then putting it together, and then it kind of goes to air through the cast. So I find the stories, I shoot the stories, I write the stories, I edit them, and then they go to air. Yeah. I do all the things, yeah. I try to, at least, I don't know. I mean, well, the dream,
You want to do this forever.
I mean, probably not. As much as I love it, like, honestly, the people that we work with here are pretty awesome. I'm quite happy with the crew that we have. But the dream job, like, if we're going big, was I would love to be a sports reporter for TSN. So Toronto would be super ideal, but, I mean, that could be way down the road. Yeah, I don't know. Next up, I think I would like to get a job back in Edmonton. I'm very, like, family orientated, and all my family and friends are in Edmonton, and I just, like, because I've grown up there, I love that city, so getting some sort of reporter job there would be sweet. Get out of here! Why is this happening to me? Go away! Brett, you need to leave now.
Breathe a little quieter, that'd be cool.
I have asthma.
So would I ask. I don't care about your life story.
You're asking me about my life. I'm a live hit reporter, so I go out to events but I go out in the community, talk to special people in the community, and tell their stories. You want me to give you 3, 2, 1? Yeah. So I went to school in Edmonton, and I kind of knew that I wanted to be as a reporter. Growing up from junior high, I interviewed some local athletes in Edmonton. And so that was kind of my journey into school. And from there, you know, a good friend of mine, he got his practicum here, and I said, well, I want to come to Lloydminster as well. So I ended up coming to Lloydminster and got hired out of my practicum. And yeah, it's been a weird journey for sure. I'm actually working.
What are you doing?
I'm getting B-roll.
For what?
My story? As soon as I came and interned here, it was a whole new ball game. It was every day you're learning something new. You're going out and really applying what you learned in school to the field. I go out into events and kind of I'm able to talk to the community more. I get to engage with some wonderful people in our community and get to kind of showcase what we do in the border city and in our Lakeland area. A little bit, checking out some of those local artifacts, but first we're going to head back right into the studio. You know, I get to talk to just some wonderful people, and I love my job.
How do you make a tissue dance? You put a boogie in it.
Don't be afraid to put out content, whether it be just some video on Instagram or YouTube, or if you're writing articles just for a personal blog. Put out content. That's the best way to A, get better, and B, to get noticed as well. We have for local news this morning. We'll have more primetime local news this evening. You can also find us on Facebook at Primetime Local News. You can also find us on Twitter at Primetime Local News. You can follow us on Instagram at PTL News as well. This in the media industry, it's very contact driven. It's about who you know, kind of, and just let people know who you are. Let people know, like, hi, I'm Brett Holden. This is what I do. So I don't mean no harm when. Okay, this says.
We can make a whole Brett show with the amount of B-roll I have with Brett.
Add some like cheesy music in the beginning, like a sitcom.
Do that again. I don't want to be like, oh, you get to hear me.
They're all still in his hair.
Well, one of those is Elise's pen, so you actually picked the right one.
Now we know how
Dan is one of our, I don't know, are you a producer or what are you?
Is this like a comedy thing or what?
It's semi-serious.
Do I have to give you serious answers?
Give me real answers.
Okay.
Be yourself.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna be myself. I am the producer for CKSA Radio, Real Country 95.9 here on Lloydminster. I also do commercials for all of the province of Alberta through Stingray. It's here! Well, just about. Time for Christmas! I voice a lot of the promos and stuff. I like to say I'm the voice of PTLN. When they come into my booth, I record Elise Darwish with Primetime Local News, and we put a promo on the radio so people know to tune in to Primetime Local News.
What is he saying?
What's going on with this computer now?
Dan's controlling it.
This is very...
What is he gonna open?
Oh.
No.
I don't know what's happening.
I was at home one day and realized, man, I suck at my job, but I like listening to stuff. So I was like, maybe I could just make that a job. So I dropped a bunch of money into college and now I'm doing it. And then I went to radio school, NATE, the North Alberta Institute of Technology, for radio. The biggest mistake of my life. I'm just kidding, it was a great time. It's here, well, just about. I did an internship with Stingray, because I was already working there for 1.5 years during school. And then on my first day of my practicum, the last producer here quit. So I just applied and I got it. All right. No, I have to actually do some stuff.
Oh, there you are. Hey, Don.
That's you. That's his impression of you. Fix your hair.
That's what I did in the one shot.
How's my hair look?
You don't look bad, you look good, don't worry.
I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. I think community, everywhere you go, you kind of know everybody, especially working here at PTLN, you get to meet a lot of different people every day and you kind of see them out on the streets, even when you're off duty. I got recognized at Staples on the weekend, actually. She's very nice. She called me Mr. Chan as I walked into the store, and I thought I knew her, but she said, I watched you on the news. I was like, oh.
He likes Cheerios. That's what? So dry Cheerios, dry bagels, so you don't forget dry bagels.
Basically, if the food is bland, it's Connor Chan's favorite.
I get to deal with people like Ryan and Joe, and then my people my fellow colleagues in the newsroom as well, so, and upstairs in production, so. I make everybody look good on camera.
No need for that.
It's true.
One of the girls at the yoga studio was like, I thought you looked familiar. I was telling her I was like, Phil, and she's like, yeah, I thought you looked.
She's like, I've seen you do camera work before.
And don't give me that look. I even make you look good whenever I film you. I film things, and then occasionally I get called up. I'm a utility player. You know, I can play up and down your lineup, playing your top 6 and playing your bottom 9. You know, or bottom 6, I guess.
After that, I mean, I try to go corgi hunting, like not
okay.
like find them, not like find them and see if I can pet them.
All right, Connor Chan, our own corgi murderer. here on Primetime Local News. Unfortunately, we might need to arrest him later in the show, but that will make
What is next on your step? Nope, let me take two. We're trying that one again.
Eventually, I would like to go to the NHL, work for a media team, either as a reporter or a camera guy, maybe, or an editor, that kind of thing. Just to get the chance to see every NHL city would be really cool.
Well, this has been my interview with Chandler the Manor. I appreciate your time.
I don't need 3 takes on between 2 cameras. I keep going.
Interesting. Yeah, well, this is a serious show.
It's just trying to find him.
Where's Josh?
Where's Josh?
What are you guys doing? They're filming.
Getting B-roll, and I have none of you at all, because you're never here.
I'm here.
I am from Cochrane, Alberta, originally, just outside Calgary, nearby the mountains. I initially had a degree before getting my broadcasting diploma. I went to U of A via the Augustana campus, but I got my diploma at NEAT, like most people who work here. I think I liked talking a lot as a child, so I just wanted to naturally have something where I can talk. But I was also always fascinated by Ron McLean on Hockey Night in Canada. And then I got into watching sports, and I liked watching and listening to the play-by-play. And so I always kind of wanted to be a play-by-play person. As an athlete, I also just thought maybe that's something that I can do after I'm done playing sports. So I had a practicum here from January to April in 2016. And about a week before I was going to move back home and try to figure out what to do with my life after my practicum was over, 2 job openings popped up, and Stacy offered me one, and I've shuffled around since then. Well, because I was weekend weather.
This is UCAP weather. Well, the sun has shined on Lloydminster over the past week with temperatures
When we made the switch to the 5-day cast, I became a video journalist officially and had the City Hall beat.
Josh Ryan has more.
A forensic audit of the Lloydminster Facilities Corporation.
And then I switched off the City Hall beat when Brittany Matika came along and started to cover a few other things, and then became sports this year.
Welcome back, Josh Bucky, back again to talk sports. We're going to switch gears.
Now I am the only sports reporter officially at the station. Go to practice, I film and interviews, talk to people there, film practices, plan features, and mostly covering high school and college sports along with the Bobcats. And then, yeah, I edit all my own stuff, shoot all my own stuff, write all my own stuff, that kind of thing.
And that's it for me in sports. Michaela, that's what your web.
If I had my dream job would probably be either doing play-by-play at the professional level for a sport, or hosting a sports television show.
Josh, you've been with us at NewCap for a little while now. You've done a fantastic job. Josh Ryan, of course.
Daily sports television show. You learn pretty quick, and even in broadcasting school, that if you plan to just be on air and talk right away, that's not how it works, and you don't get to specialize early. You have to learn how to do everything, and that's how people are hiring now, is they want people who can do multiple things. You have to really kind of love the job to an extent. You have to love talking to people. You have to love chasing stories. You have to love being at long events, or love the rush of it and the stress that sometimes comes with it, because it's a demanding job. It's a fun job, but it's not as glamorous as some people would say it is.
Just
Brad,
you.
how do you do that?
This is all I do when I do it.
Just pace and pace.
Alright.
Are you ditching?
Yeah, I'm gonna make like baby head out.
Golly, good show.
PTLN, what goes into it, what you do here, how you got here.
Okay.
What are your career goals?
World domination.
My dad retook high school with me.
All right, let's show them.
You want me to list every school I went to?
Every school.